Welcome to another triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
We are back with another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel, and we are not short on things to talk about this week. We have Oceanside 70.3 to recap, which definitely did not disappoint. And then we're going to roll into talking about the few upcoming races with the T100 in Singapore. And then we've also got some Super Tri Esport championships. So there's going to be lots of racing going on this weekend, but let's jump into what's been going on with the crew here. Josh, how are you feeling? How did Oceanside go? Tell us all about it.
So you're going to start with me? We might not get to Fede.
Yeah. We've been waiting to hear. We were tracking you all day, and it was great to see you out there.
I'm happily not talking and just listening to your recap because nothing's been happening with me. That's my update.
It feels good to have a recap, and it was just an awesome week. Got out there Wednesday, pretty easy travel considering there was a nor'easter here in Boston, and got out no problem. And bike arrived and bags arrived, and got to the hotel late Wednesday night and got a good night's sleep. And then it was like to work. And Thursday morning, get checked in, registration expo. As I was checking in, I saw Emma Brown check in. I was like, all right, well, looks like she's here to race, and she's all bandaged up. And sure enough, she raced, and we'll talk about how well she raced. But it's just, Oceanside reminds me of how awesome this sport truly is. And we all knew how big of a start list it was. And just walking around and chatting with the pros as they come across. And it's just like being at any regular event with your friends. And these guys are treating everyone age group down like they're your good friends. So that whole aspect of it all, being in that atmosphere, and that expo is probably one of the bigger expos in all of triathlon. The event itself, the T1 transition area is huge. Trying to find your spot is to make sure you have like 10, 20, 30 minutes to rack your bike before the time allotment runs out on Friday night. So did all that. We did the shakeout run with Mana, and got to meet Fenella and Jason Pohl and Reed Ziegler. And I mean, it was really cool. We beat out the rain on Friday morning to do that, and got a good team picture, and I won a free pair on, so happy about that. With my answer, you know what? I channeled my Anna Jenner, and I were asking questions, and it was like, you got to have that triathlon knowledge. And the one I won was, I think it was Reed asked, what was Tamara's winning run split last year? And I was like, 113. I was like, yeah. Apparently I knew.
There you go.
You know, the benefits of the podcast, we talk about this stuff so often that kind of gets ingrained.
Exactly. And the other one was the one I was like, I just missed getting my name in, was who did Jason beat out for a spot in Kona at Maryland last year. And I was like, just couldn't get Sam Long off the tip of my tongue, but should have known better.
Well done, though. Shiny new pair of ons.
Yeah, shiny new pair of ons. And we have On is going to be at our shakeout run for the Boston Marathon this weekend too, that Mana is putting on with Human Powered Health. So we'll have probably a few more pairs there for people to win, and some demos for people to run in. So excited about that event. It's going to be a whole Mana April for me, and just really awesome to be around the team, meet a lot of the team for the first time. And then, as you guys know, when you're racing together with teammates, it just keeps you going. Whether you see them on the swim start or you see them out on the bike course, and especially at the run in Oceanside, start off and you either passing somebody or they're coming the other way on their first lap or second lap, and you're just constantly seeing each other. So I almost had a disaster Saturday morning for the swim. I got there, no problem.
Oh no.
It was really nice doing a race for the second time too. So I recommend this to everyone. Go back and do the same race you've already done, because it's cool to compare, because it's the only way you can do it in triathlon. Somewhat, and almost everything was the same: weather, everything, conditions, harbor swim. We had a surf advisory; like they couldn't even have a small craft in the water. So if you can't have people on kayaks, and you can't swim. So went to the marina swim, and as I was slotting myself into the 37 to 40 minute swim corral, I went to tighten my goggles as I put them on, and the strap came undone. So I had to restring my Magic Fives. Thankfully, they are very easy to get back on, but I lost a few minutes in corral, so I was back a little further than I wanted to be, knowing that I was going to have a better swim than last year, but I wanted to have fewer people to pass on the bike and get out quicker. So I did swim about 3 or 4 minutes faster than last year. Came out with a lot more energy. Didn't stumble. Got a little help getting my suit off, and got the rest of it off at my transition spot. Got in and out about 3 or 4 minutes faster than last year. So, all right, here we go. We're 6-7 minutes ahead of last year. Right out of T1. Did fumble with my bike computer a little bit, getting it into race mode. But other than that, had an easy mount and off and running. I love that bike course, and it was tough. And if anyone watched it or saw it, you could see the pro. Yeah. So I felt it was, for me, I felt fast on the new bike. I felt fast with all the training. I kept my watts where I wanted to keep them, and I raced my race and didn't overcook myself. Looking at my file, like even going up the first climb in the base where you saw Sam Long and those guys kind of take over the race at that top of that first climb. I think I maxed out at like 350, 400 watts, but I pretty much sat in like 260, which was above my race pace. But I didn't cook it. I didn't burn too many matches going up that climb. A lot of road bikes passing me on the climb, but then I went flying by them on the descent.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, you're flying. I mean, on the flats, and when I had clear room without people in front of me, and there's some no passing zones and things like that, which is why I wanted to slot up further on the bike. It gets a little difficult when you're passing probably 1,000 people is probably where I ended up going through. So it makes it tough on a course like this. But when I did, there was one other guy I worked with, and he and I were similar in terms of what we were pushing and speed wise, and we just kind of slingshot each other and worked, but was able to hold like 26, 28, 30 miles an hour on most of those rolling hills areas. So felt like I was having a really good bike. What I didn't realize until after I looked at everything was my bike was only a couple minutes faster than last year, even though it felt way faster. I didn't realize how strong the headwind was this year. And it was a huge factor. So I think I had like 15 to 17 watts higher of normalized power than what my average power was. So definitely worked hard, but felt great coming off the bike. Had probably another minute or two quicker transition coming into T2, and got out on the run and really wanted to run smart and try and negative split and hold the pace and not go out too fast. Went out too fast last year and ended up pulling back a little bit. And I pretty much ran 8-minute miles, but didn't have that extra gear, and probably missed a little bit of fueling on the bike again, mainly salt tabs. I didn't have that set up the way I should have and have it in my pocket, but definitely fueled the whole run, hit every aid station, didn't walk any. Last year, I probably walked most of the aid stations. This year, I didn't stop the whole day. And it felt great. And then got to see my wife running the other way on lap 1. And then on lap 2, actually. You know what? I stopped once. I stopped to kiss her on her finish lap as we passed each other. And we got a bunch of ahs from behind us. And the guy's like, I hope you're trying to catch her. And I was like, no. She's finishing, and this is a relay for her. So she had a great race. It was awesome being out with her, and the whole weekend, seeing the being at the luncheon with the Challenged Athletes Foundation. being around Team Athletic Brewing again, and they had a documentary release that they did on some athletes from Lake Placid last year. So just a really special weekend. And I got home and ran my last 2 miles in like 7:30 or under. So negative splitted the last 10K or so, and got in about just over 12 minutes faster than last year, and felt good about that. Just missed 5:30, but we'll get that at Western Mass in another 7.5 weeks or so.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Just speaks to all the hard work that you've been putting in there. And yeah, it seemed like everyone kind of felt the same with the slower bike times with some of the wind conditions, which kind of the fun of triathlon. You are definitely fitter, it looks like, from your power output and stuff, but terrain conditions, all of it plays such a big factor when you're going that long, for sure.
Yeah. And even looking at some of the files, there's certain segments that I had better times on last year. So some things to learn in places to maybe push it a little harder than I did. And I didn't really focus on that. I really wanted to focus on having the computer, having the watts that I knew I should be holding, and stay as consistent as possible to
Steady
make
power.
that run.
Yeah. Also, a very good point is
that's the way to do it.
The conditions were tougher than last year, but the way you are speaking to us right now sounds to me that you are a stronger athlete. Like the headwind was stronger, you had a higher power output, and yet the time passed a lot faster than it did for you last year. So this is a very good point for the listener. Sometimes time is not a good correlation with peak performance. Maybe you have a fast year, maybe you don't, but the fact that you pushed a higher power output and that you felt stronger throughout the day, throughout the bike leg, that just goes to show how stronger you've gotten on the bike.
Yeah, it definitely did. And I think it was if I do it again, which is kind of funny because now that my wife's done it, she's like, okay, you can sign back up for next year. I was like, I love Oceanside, but man, that is a tough course. And when you're trying to now, like for me, it's like, all right, how fast can I get? And then I start looking at like Texas and 70.3 Galveston at like 600, 700 feet of elevation. It's like, man, I could fly on that course. So in my other two races this year are both at 2,500 plus elevation again. So I still don't have a bike course on the map that I know I could really crush and see what I could do on the run there and get my run closer to my standalone half marathon run. Probably didn't have enough in the training for that, but still had a faster run. I think my run was about 3 or 4 minutes faster overall. So again,
that's huge.
Successful day. All five times were faster. And it was just a really cool celebration and cheering everyone else on and watch the whole award show and literally like coming out of transition, standing at the award shows right next to Taylor Knibb and Paula and I mean, it was just in talking to Larry Gruden and Yo shows up late for the award ceremony because he was back changing diapers. It was it's a really neat atmosphere, and it was funny on Friday night you drop your bike by 5:30 and the pro meetings at like 2 or 3. So and it poured rain, so people were kind of waiting for the rain to stop, and then everyone kind of went at the same time. So got to see Carolyn Carter, LA triathlete, dropping her bike off as we were walking out. And as we were walking out, there comes Taylor walking her bike in, Sam riding his bike in yet again. And they're all by themselves. And it's like, what other sport would you see that with the top athletes in the world with no entourage, no nothing, doing it on their own? And then we're walking back along the run course, and here comes Sam flying by us doing his last shakeout run after he dropped off his bike. So next level stuff and just really cool to see the power and the speed of some of the athletes there too, like especially on the run course. It's like after that bike and these guys are running 5:30, 6:30s. I mean, it's amazing to see the level of talent in this sport, and almost 2,500 people, 2,600 people hit the start line, I think. So really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is the neat thing about triathlon. There's not a lot of sports where you're on the same field of play as the athletes that you look up to and as the pros, and can actually compare yourself in your times to what they're doing on the same day. you said, see them in transition. It's pretty cool to be able to have that kind of access and just be that close to these athletes who do some pretty incredible things at the end of the day.
Speaking of close to, Janine probably had the best seat in the house for Lionel finishing the race. And so you've got the ramp up to the pier, and she was on the ramp overlooking the finish line when he came across and broke tapes.
Nice. That
Pretty
is
cool.
wicked. Oh,
Okay.
we're definitely going to be chatting more about that. But before we get into all the pro results, Fede, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Hey, guys. Well, looks like you had a pretty good race, Josh, and I'm proud of you. And I know that sub 5 is going to come, especially sooner than later. Well, when you choose like an actual fast course, not like a super tough, windy. Everybody goes to races to PR and they choose like a downriver swim, flat bike, run, and you're like, no, I'm going to choose the hardest one. So
yeah,
that's
awesome.
I'll see you in Augusta, right?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, speaking about Augusta, tomorrow the Masters is going to start, so excited about that one. So that's my highlight. I'm excited about the Masters. Hopefully watching Tiger getting another one. That's my dream. But no, I mean, training has been going okay, I guess. A little bit of swimming, no kicking, just a pull buoy, a lot of paddle work. So I maybe start to think that I could actually become a stronger swimmer out of this. But
there you go.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to take some time, and obviously my mind is playing tricks on me. Like, you're going to forget how to walk. When you start running, you're not going to be able to push harder than a 15-minute mile pace. But we'll see. Taking it day by day, and it's good. And also watching Josh and the team ripping it down at Oceanside also was a great motivation for me. Yeah. What about you, Jenna? How's the listeners can see you, but you're rocking a UCI polo, looking very serious over there.
Looking all official. Yeah, little different environment here. I'm over in Toronto, which I've never actually been to Toronto. Lived in Canada for a lot of my life, but over here because there is the Tissot UCI Track Nations Cup going on, and I do some digital content consulting for Cycling Canada, which is the national federation and the ones putting on this event. So it is really cool to be down here. They've got this incredible velodrome, and it's basically 300 athletes from 50 different countries all competing for Olympic points, because this is the third of 3 qualifying events and their last chance to get Olympic points. So definitely lots on the line out here. And, it's just fun to see, like, be behind the scenes and stuff like this and see these athletes flying around that velodrome is absolutely incredible. You just hear the hum of the place, and I'll have to post some pictures up on our Instagram. You've got the infield is just absolutely incredible bikes, hundreds of them. Like, the Italian team has these stunning Pinarellos that are just beautiful. US has these wicked canyons that all have like the stripes, stars and stripes and stuff. And Canada, we've got our Argon bikes going on. And it's just, there's a bunch of brands that I've never heard of before. But it's going to be a pretty fun weekend of just seeing some of the best in the world, Olympians, world champions, Pan American Game medalists, just all competing and giving the last push for those Olympic points. So I'm enjoying being down here, and just being a little bit more behind the scenes. Some crazy hours. It's if you guys don't know the event organization side, it's like 12, 13-hour days trying to get everything kind of dialed in, all hands on deck. And this is the first time that I've done a professional, like an event for Olympians and professional athletes opposed to amateurs. So it's been really interesting to see some of those differences. I've been trying to sneak in a few runs in here, and I've been actually the most successful I've been so far. Usually event week, I'm just so exhausted and cooked that I don't get much for training, but been doing pretty much double run days since I got here, sneaking it in where I can and doing a little bit more quality over the quantity, which actually has been feeling pretty good. So it's kind of fun to see how the run feels different without biking or doing anything else. just kind of getting that dialed in and feeling a little bit more efficient. But I am pushing the team hard here. I'm like, I have to get on that track at some point during this. Like, I am not leaving Ontario until I get a track bike and go right around that velodrome because it looks like so much fun. So hopefully on Saturday, we've got a big break between the morning qualifiers and the finals. So hoping to get on the track and kind of play around on one of those Argon track bikes. They look pretty wicked.
She's secretly still trying to be recruited.
Right? How fun would that be?
I don't envy
No,
the
I'm starting to feel old now.
LA 2028 Jenna on the individual time trial.
It's so bad. I'm starting to feel old here. All these Olympians are like really young. I'm like, man, it's yeah, definitely not in Olympic shape, we'll say. But no, it's pretty cool to see how fast they go. And just these corners, like the banks of these things, it's 42 degrees. So you just see them going up along the top there, and they are just sideways flying around this thing. Like, it looks so wicked.
Just to give you guys an idea, too, that first climb at Oceanside, I think I saw my bike computer at like 16% grade, something like that. So it's a substantial climb for anyone. I think it was a category 4. At the end of the day. Yeah, it's 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. You're doing good. The pros, I think, are at like 8 or 9 miles an hour. Is what their average.
That is solid for sure. Awesome. Well, speaking of pros, let's get into it because, well, Josh, you saw some of it happen in person and got to experience some of it, but I know it's definitely watching this race go down. It was so much fun to see kind of all the big names out there. Oceanside is always the season opener. One thing that was unfortunate was it looks like Race Ranger had some issues with an update. Apparently there were a handful of units that weren't quite working after they did an update, and it didn't seem like it would be fair to only have some people with units not working. So it'd suck if you see kind of Lionel Sanders on there and he's just got red in front of him the whole time. That wouldn't look too good for him. But it definitely was a race day that did not disappoint. Fede, do you want to run us through what happened out there on the course with the pros?
Yeah, absolutely. So just touching on Lionel, he had probably the best swim of his life on the 70.3. Usually Sam Long is like a minute ahead of Lionel on these 70.3s, but now he was a minute ahead Sam, which is amazing. He has a super strong team now, and just goes to show the commitment that he's putting into his training and everything with the Aquabear swim group. And he went to the velodrome, aero testing. We saw him wearing a different tri-suit. He's I don't know if the relationship with the Norwegians is still there, but he was rocking the Surpass tri-suit, which is the Norwegian brand that Gustav and Christian wear. So I don't know if there's still some ties up there, but yeah, I was very happy. I was very happy, especially for our little game we have going on the podcast, because I chose the old man, and and he took the win in 3:46.24. He was probably running scared of Yellow Gins because he was arguably the fastest runner on the field. But after on the bike, him and Sam just put up a clinic on the bike. They were riding like a zip code above everyone else. So yeah, he won in 3:46, running a 1:10 half marathon. Then we had Mr. Yo, Sam Long, just a minute behind, and then another Canadian, Jackson Landry, a minute behind Sam. So very, very close racing from this from the guys. We had a little incident with the Kiwis Braden Curry, who got a DQ, but then he later appealed it, as well as Emma Pollen Brown on the females, and they both won their appeal, which is like unheard of. Like probably this is the first time I know somebody has their call overturned at Oceanside, because even Daniela Reef couldn't do this a couple of years in the past. And on the girls' side, we saw like a domination from like Taylor Knibb, like just 10 minutes in front of of Emma Pallant Brown, who's not a slow not a slow athlete at all, and Paula Finley coming in third. But Taylor, she was just going so strong. And after the race on the press conference, I saw a meme that the interviewer asked her, "So how do you feel about this race?" And she was like, "Oh, I still have a lot to work on." And then Paula's face when she said that was like, "Come on, what do you have to work on? You have 10 minutes on us." So yeah,
Unreal.
She said the same thing
Yeah.
at the award ceremony too. And it was like you could see the other four girls on the stage like, really? Again?
Oh, just rub some salt in the wound for sure.
And she
yeah,
didn't
You know what's crazy
she didn't
about the
even
whole
have
Taylor?
the greatest swim either. Like it wasn't a true Taylor Knibb swim. I mean, she came out, Fenella had a good gap on her.
yeah,
But she
Mhm.
got rid of that gap within like the first 10K on the bike. I mean, it was crazy.
yeah. I
Well,
I,
and it's
I don't
funny,
think
she
she
was
burned
over a
any
minute slower
matches
in
on swim.
transition. Yeah. Yeah, she was over a minute slower in transition than everyone else there, putting on socks, getting ready, just totally not fussed whatsoever. She's like, she had to know like what kind of
Yeah,
crazy bike she was in. But it's funny. She's almost invalidated every other female athlete's results for the Ironman Pro Series with that result, because with the Ironman Pro Series, it's basically you lose a point for every second that you are behind the winner. And having an 11-minute deficit is a whole lot of points in there. So for the rest of them,
that
this would be
yeah.
like getting 30th. like their second, third, like even the podium, they may as well have gotten 30th place for the number
Mm,
of points that they got. It really kind of screwed them
yeah,
over.
yeah.
That
I mean,
incredible performance. It was crazy.
that's good on Taylor. Like she's pushing the sport to a level that we saw Daniela sort of
Hmm.
push, and now she's picking up the torch from Daniela. And man, I'm super excited for her, especially this year being an Olympic year. Maybe they can upgrade the silver to a gold in the mixed team relays, and if she is fit, I totally could see her winning the Paris games. And maybe after that she goes to Topo and wins 70.3 worlds, and then the year after she goes and win Kona. I mean, the sky's the limit for her. So super excited for Taylor, and congratulations to her and her whole team. I know her family is a very triathlon oriented family,
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean, triathlon runs in her veins. So kudos to Taylor, and I'm sorry for all the other girls who had to compete against her.
And
Yeah, I'm
and
curious to how
thankfully she
she
won't
does in
be
the next
around.
Olympic distance.
That is
Yeah,
true. I mean, so she's going to be focusing on the Olympic going forward. And I think thank
Hmm.
God for the Ironman Pro Series. She will not be around too much more. And she was
Very
literally
true.
there. She was literally there to validate, and she validated. She didn't take any slot. And she was, she even said to, I think it was on her Breakfast with Bob interview, where she said she'd only started Oceanside specific training a week and a half, 2 weeks before the event. That's scary. And for her to go, oh,
Man, unreal.
yeah,
so
crazy,
Just
right?
crazy. And she's got a new coach now. She's with Dan Lorang, so switched up the training,
Mm,
and she was a force to be reckoned with before, but definitely looks like the new coaching relationship is going well, because she dominated that. Like that was next level.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, the racing was really from second onwards, because there
yeah,
was no chance anyone was catching her. And we actually had a few moves through the back of the race as well. So good to see Emma Pallant Brown, especially after her Miami race, kind of coming back and showing how good of a runner she is and how strong of an athlete she is as well. So it was fun to see.
yeah. And she got a little lost on the bike course. There, she
Yeah.
biked a little bit more. So yeah, it was impressive that she was able to bounce back, because I know a Mexican athlete, Tomas, he also went off course, but he said that mentally he just
A
didn't
lot
have
of people did.
the yeah. He was like, no, I was like, no, I'm done. but the fact that
Mm-hmm.
Emma was able to bounce from that, just it's a proof to her character and her eliteness in
Just ready.
as a racer. Yeah.
There were definitely a few pros that went off course, and I think like even
Mm-hmm.
Lionel and Sam, like Lionel just happened to notice he saw like the turn, so he didn't go too far before he turned back around. There was some left turn that caught them all. I think Matt Sharp was still up front at one point, and he got like to a dead end. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Crap! I guess we got to turn around." And that whole train, Dubrick and a whole bunch of them lost a lot of time there, I think. But it's interesting. I mean,
That's going to be on the race
me,
organizers with that.
and
With
that
that
is
many
the one
people are
thing I
going
would
off,
say
that
towards the
is,
race organizer.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
There's knowing the course, but that is legit.
Yeah, and there's a
100%.
lot of the course you can't know because you can't do the recon other than watching videos of
Mhm.
previous races. You can't get out there through the military base; it's closed. But as an age grouper, yeah, I was with a lot of people for the most part. But there were times I was out in by myself. I don't remember anything not being clearly marked, but I guess when you're out in front like that, it's a little different. But I could tell where everyone was. So maybe the volunteers aren't out there as much as they are when the age groupers come through. I don't know, but I didn't have any close calls.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Maybe they kind of realized it after a bunch of the pro field went the wrong way. They're like, oh, we should put a cone here.
Not a day to have
yeah.
to be biking an extra 2 minutes.
No. And then we had the men's race. We got Lionel Sanders back in at the win. It sounds like he is really committed to, one, getting after his swim, and two, picking a lane and sticking with it. So hopefully that's something we continue to see with him, because that was very cool to see. And yeah, like you mentioned, Fede, just one of the best swims he has ever had, being ahead of Sam Long there. And it seemed like he just played it smart the whole day. Let Sam lead the train in front, just stick with him and trust that his run will be good enough at the end of the day. And it absolutely was. That was fun to see Lionel back to doing Lionel things.
And he'll clean up his transition too. I mean, he had a rough T1, and that's what allowed Sam to close the gap on him. But it was something as simple as like his helmet Velcro got stuck, and it took him an extra minute to get that back in and things. So he clearly is in shape and ready to dominate the Ironman series in Kona.
Absolutely, yeah. And he's got to be one of the favorites for that. Well, so here's the thing. I don't know if he's actually hunting down that Ironman series. He's talking about how Kona is absolutely the goal. He's going to do another Ironman that will be within the series. But if he's going after Kona, that's number one. I can't see him traveling internationally to get another Ironman on the books to get enough points to do it. But if he has a great day at Kona, wins his Ironman, then he could potentially get the points to still top that Ironman Pro Series. It'll really be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, he'll show up at Florida. He'll show up at those late season races to get some more points.
Do any of those count? I don't think any of them do. I think after Kona,
no, I don't
it's
think
done,
so. After Kona, but I think that's his. I think that's his aim. Like he wants to do like Oceanside, win Oceanside. He's going to do an Ironman, trying to win that one. And then he's going to try to win Kona and potentially 70.3 Worlds. And to me, he is going like, okay, I'm going for quality, not quantity. So if he's able to win all the races he enters, then he's obviously going to win the series. Obviously, if he wins Kona and 70.3 Worlds, he's not going to need to race a whole lot of races. But that's a big ask as well. When you have the likes of Laylo and the Norwegians and everybody's there, it's going to be difficult, but definitely possible.
Yeah, be curious to see how that shakes out.
That's a good transition into Singapore coming up this weekend. But I do want to give a shout out to the Mana team age groupers. Corey taking first place in the age group, Chad on the podium. Really cool to see them working together on the bike and just showing all the how fast those tri-suits are. And it was just really cool to see the Mana team working and Philip up on the podium. So many podiums, a lot of world championship slots coming out of Mana this weekend. So kudos to Team Mana and all the work that everyone's put in.
Yeah, no, it's so good to see. Oceanside is kind of the hub of Mana Endurance, so it's definitely a big showing of the team. And like I mentioned before, though, come out to Calgary 70.3 because we're going to try to make that another team race up here, and that's in my backyard. So
Well,
everyone come through
we got
campus.
second in Oceanside as a tri club, so the bar is set
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. We could win Calgary. Come on, guys. Let's get out there. Be right, Josh. That brings us into T100 Singapore. And the only bummer about being at this cycling event is it's going to make it very hard to watch the Singapore race, but it is going to be a ripper of a race here. This is the race last year that we saw just decimate the field. Like, absolutely. There were so many flat tires. You had that one bike mechanic who was a rock star running back and forth and making sure everyone was pumped up again. Because remember, at these T100 races, they didn't have it for Miami because it was such a short course. But in Singapore, if you get lapped on the bike, you are out. And we saw a couple of people fall afoul of that last year because there was some pretty incredible bike performances. There has been a bit of talk because T100 has partnered with the World Triathlon. They have some parameters around heat warnings and temperatures before races have to be shortened or canceled. And as of right now, Singapore kind of falls afoul of those rules with some insane conditions. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but I can't see them shutting it down or making it not happen because, well, they're going to push it ahead anyway they can. I'm fairly confident. Last year at Singapore, we also had a number of people get sick. There was some talk of whether it was the water or something else going on. Current consensus seems to be that there was basically a patient zero who was sick coming in and everyone else got sick afterwards. So hopefully that's not the case this time. I know. I was like, should I? So this race, it is one of those ones where athletes, when they did it the first time, thought that it was a fairly mild bike course. They were told it was flat and easy. And once they went around on a little bus ride to check it out, everyone started swapping out gears because it's a pretty legit course. There's definitely some elevation on the bike. The run, there is as well. Most of it is kind of run along the waterfront, but there's a bit of a bridge there. But really what I'm most excited about this event is we've reached the point where athletes who haven't raced so far that have T100 contracts have run out of races. So they have to be out at this race. We're going to see some of the top names jumping back in and actually getting out there. And with a race like this, with these conditions, there is so much room for either incredible performances or complete blow-ups. And I think we're going to see a few surprises out there on the weekend. What do you guys think? Are you excited to see this go down?
I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm with you, Jen. I think they're going to get this race started no matter what. I mean, I think there's a lot of teasers out there and clickbait to say we're not going to be racing because of the temperatures, but the entire pro field is already there on the ground, ready to go. And my social media post of the week talks about one of them. And I just feel like this series is so limited already, you can't skip one of it. And we just heard that Javi Gomez is now out for his second. So what does that mean for the rest of his T100 contract series? Mm-hmm. He's got to do pretty much every event. And that's going to be difficult to do. So I'm excited for this. It's going to be the first time you got Lucy, Chelsea, and Ash all in the same field. On the men's side, we'll see if Magnus takes the line. It sounds like he pulled an implant and crashed his brake. So there's some word on the street that he might not make the start line, but you've got Sam Laidlow, both Sam Laidlow, you got Jason West. You've got a top side of that field and Alistair and all of these guys that bunked in Miami. How are they going to handle the heat this time around now that they know that they've got to change their game plan a little bit?
Yeah, how about I'll run down some of kind of the top, well, there's not too many. With 20 athletes, it's not too hard to run it down, but we'll look at the men's and the women's side. Actually, let's go one by one. We'll start with the men's side here. For the men's, we've got Magnus Dietleff, who just crushed in Miami. Jason West, who has an incredible run. We got Sam Long, who is doing back-to-back from Oceanside. Peter Heinrich, who had a shocking result last year. Rudy Mudberg, Sam Laidlow, Daniel Backergaard, Yuri Kulin, Alistair Brownlee, Leon Chevalier, Fred Funk, Clement Mignon, Bradley Weiss, Aaron Royal, David McNamee, Ben Knut, Casper Stepnick, Kyle Smith, Mika Newt, and unfortunately Javier Gomez is out, but I hear Ashley Gentle's partner, what's his name, is going to jump in.
Josh Amberger.
Josh Amberger, yeah. Blanked there for a second. So what do you guys think? We have some pretty impressive names on here. And like you mentioned, Josh, the conditions are going to be very similar to Miami, where we saw some explosions going on. It's hard to go past Magnus Dietlef, the Terminator, just kind of sticking to his power, sticking to his pace, is doing his thing. I'm curious to see how he goes there.
If he makes the start list, it's hard to root against him or bet against him at this point. And Sam needed a lot more distance to catch him. So if Magnus is on the line, it's hard not to pick him. But I think there's some time that others have had to adjust. And Alistair had a great race in Miami and Sam Laidlow had a great race in Miami kilometers. Right? So maybe they made the adjustments necessary, and I'm going to go with Sam Laidlow. I just think he's got that fire underneath him, and that revenge factor is there. He just has that extra it factor I think some of the others might not have yet.
See, I'm hesitant to really get Sam Laidlow for anything here because he came out so heavily saying that the T100, he's just not that focused on it. He's just going after Kona. It's kind of doing it, which who knows, maybe he in the back of his head is like really going after it and crushing it and is hungry for it kind of thing. You never know in real life.
Miami, I mean, it didn't seem like he was just going through the motions in Miami. I mean, he legit bunked on that
Very
run.
true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what?
Legit bunked.
I'm legit bunked. I'm so hesitant to say it, but I'm going with Alistair Brownlee. I think Miami would have been a shock to the system, and he's such a savvy, smart racer when he's in it. You gotta think he accounted for that because I had a little bit more time to get some run fitness in there. He's never, he's had some heat problems in the past, but you gotta think he kind of went back from Miami, got things dialed in, and it'd be fun to see him win this one. It's always he always makes it so heartbreaking to watch when he has those days where you're like, yeah, he's going to be back. He's going to win it. He's got this. And then has the explosion, but I think he's got it dialed in this time.
Yeah, that would hurt. That would hurt for Alistair. Both of you guys have very, very solid picks, but I'm going to go with a friend of the podcast and go with the Frederick Funk. I think he's gonna have his breakthrough T100 race.
That would be awesome to see. You definitely, this race, you really can't count anyone out because those conditions, it's really anybody's game who can hold up. And the other one to watch is Sam Long. Going from Oceanside, he's had a lot of success in the past doing back-to-back races, and he did so well in the heat in Miami. Curious to see, what that will look like.
I agree. I mean, I think his history shows he can race back-to-back weeks, and he's done well. He's podium each time he does it. The difference this time, and this was one of the things I heard coming out of Oceanside too. I think even somebody like Mark Dubrick, who finished 7th at Oceanside, had a pretty decent race, and on his new bike, he said his legs have never been so sore coming out of a race as they were coming out of that race. So that's one of the top pros. And it was like, okay, so Sam's got to be a little tired coming out of that. And maybe it was a little different of an effort. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not going with him. If Dubrick's more sore than he normally is, there's got to be a little bit of lag with Mr. Yo too.
Yeah, and it's not like he could run easy in that because he was trying to battle it out with Sanders. So he definitely wasn't cruising through that run. The one thing that I think will benefit him in this race is last year, because the water was so hot that the men at least really didn't push the swim. So it stayed together a lot more than races typically do. And that's where Sam can really get a benefit. If no one pushes it, no one wants to get their body temperature up from the start, then he'll be right in the mix. And God knows he can run and bike with the best of them in those temperatures.
Yeah, a little different than the swim in Oceanside where everyone was bundled up until the
Everyone's
last minute.
frozen.
It was actually refreshing getting in the water because the air temperature was lower. So it was, to me, I thought the swim was great because it was like I can finally warm up.
Oh man, it's gonna be, yeah, and just a bummer to see on Javier Gomez. Like I just honestly, I'm really surprised he got a contract for this series because really his
Yeah.
last big result was 2018 at the 70.3 Worlds. He hasn't, like, you hate to hear that he's been so injured for so long, but he really hasn't done anything other than, his results from 10 years ago. Like, it's been 10 years since he's really been on top of the game. And he's,
Yeah, like not taking anything away from Javi. He is a class athlete.
Oh,
and
he's an incredible athlete. Yeah.
just a lot of athletes that are racing the T100 would give out an arm and a leg for half of the career Javi has had. But recently, unfortunately, he hasn't been the Javi we knew. And it's very surprising because just a couple of weeks ago, his coach, Dan Plus, posted a video of him and Chelsea training the house down for Singapore. So I don't know if this was just a last minute injury or what happened, illness. But it's unfortunate because I know a lot of us want to see Javi and Alistar, duking it out one more time.
He's so good.
That'd be so good.
It'll be so. It's interesting. You get to a place like Singapore, not easy for people to get to, and Josh happens to be there because Ash is there, right? So it's easy replacement. So what happens if somebody like Magnus doesn't take the line? Do they tap the great one, and we get the goat on the start line? He's there, like
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how you're going to commentate? Can we just give you a bike, Jan? Just hop on the course and roll around a bit. It'd be fine.
We can find commentators. We just can't find a top 20 athlete.
Totally. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. See what kind of form he's in. Oh, it's going to be a great race to watch on that side. Actually, you know what? I want to make a side bet. So because the conditions are so brutal, because the course is brutal, how many men do you think will actually finish the race? Like out of the 20, how many will actually make it to the finish line?
13.
You took my number. That's what I was going to say.
I'll take 14 then.
Okay,
I'll go 13.
Okay, 13. How about you, Fede? How many do you think will actually finish? Of course, last year his mechanicals were insane.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a redemption race for a lot of athletes that last year didn't finish. So I'm just going to say it, and there's going to be at least 20 athletes who finish. We're going to have a top 20.
There might not even be 20 that start. Oh man. Okay, that'll be good to see. Let's jump into the women's side of this. So we have got the return of the queen of the 100-kilometer races, Ashley Gentle. We got Lucy Charles Barclay, India Lee, Chelsea Sodaro, Imogen Simmons, Arjulaine Pierre, Amelia Watkinson, Lucy Byram, Jocelyn McCauley, Anne Reichman, Haley Chura, Ellie Salthouse, Lottie Wilms, Elle Spicer, Radka Catapult, Heidi Kibocha, Rebecca Clark, Lucy Buckingham, Anna Bergston, Pamela Oliveria. So we have a heavy kind of top end, but the women's just doesn't quite have the same depth, I don't think, at least from, just a quick glance there. I don't think they have the same.
I mean, can we rule against Indy Lee until she loses? I mean, that performance in Miami was next level, and others were in shape and in form, and she had a great race. And now you're talking harder conditions, and she was finishing strong. So I thought the one thing that was really neat that I saw her post about this week was she actually runs based on power and doesn't look at her pace or anything or heart rate. She runs based off of power. With a pod on her foot. So I thought that was interesting and how that factors into it. But I know Ash is here. I know we've got some other players and Chelsea's here and is in form. So I don't know. I tend to go with Chelsea too much and she hasn't come through for me. So I think it's still Indy Lee. If someone's going to continue to win, it's going to be her.
I see. Yeah, good choice. She's coming in hot, definitely.
No pun intended.
No,
No pun intended. No.
Now I'll be curious to see what India Lee does after getting that confidence boost, right? That can definitely change your mindset. And once you believe you can do it, that makes a massive difference.
Yeah, completely. What about you, Jenna? Who do you think is going to take the win?
And you know what, Lucy Charles will have a bit more time in her legs there. Sorry, what were your guys' picks? I had to go. Lost contact there for a second.
I'm sticking with Indy Lee. Fede hasn't made his pick yet.
I'm letting you pick first, Jenna, because I'm such a gentleman.
Okay. Thank you. So kind. You know what? I gotta go Ashley Gentle. She has this distance so dialed in that it's absolutely incredible. You know, it's been a little while since her last race, so who knows if it'll be a little bit of a rest buster to get out there, but you gotta think from past performances, she has this distance dialed.
She is one of the only ones that hasn't raced yet, right?
Yeah. She's running out of races too, so you kind of need to get on it.
Yeah. I think we can't bet against Ashley Gentle. You know, she has been the queen of the T100 and very hard to beat. So I don't see anyone beating Ashley.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be great to watch though and see it go down. And you know, with this, we found even in the women's race, like Ashley or some of the front pack swimmers like Lucy Charles and stuff, no one pushed as hard as they usually would, again, because of the water temperature, but we did see more separation in the women's race than we did see in men's for the swim. I'm curious to see if that will change this year or if everyone was so scarred by the conditions last slow down and they'll stay together to be a little more conservative. There's one thing to be said for having that race experience, but there's also something to be said for being scarred from the conditions and the event in the past. Going back there and not wanting to blow up like you did before.
It's a good point. So and my social media, the post of the week is actually making me rethink my pick for the win too, because apparently, I don't know if you guys saw Lucy's post with T100 collaborating today. She's been teaching Sam Long how to swim in Singapore, and they've been working out together in the pool in exchange for 20 watts on the bike for her.
Not that she even needs it either. Like,
classic.
She destroyed it. Yeah. That's when she's up against Taylor.
Cool and post to check out.
Yeah. I'll have to look at that one. I haven't seen it yet. It's always fun around these events. There's so much good content that comes out, and it seems, I think one of the cool things about this series is the athletes get to know each other more, so you get to see a lot more of those interactions and kind of banter back and forth, and makes it a lot more fun.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. Well, Josh, that was an excellent social media post of the week, and I'm sure we'll definitely see lots more like that as we count down to the race this weekend. It's going to be so good. Speaking of which, I'll do a quick what the F, and actually, Fede, I'm stealing yours in there. You brought this up in our pre-podcast chat, but the what the F is there going to be anybody left to race the Tour de France after all of the crashes going on here? There was an insane crash just last week in there where it basically took out a lot of the top contenders. They had a corner going around, and apparently there were some true roots on the course. And you saw some of the top male contenders for the Tour de France, for the big tours, just all slide out and go down, and a lot of broken bones, broken ribs, broken collarbones. Like, it was a scary looking crash there. Betty, what did you think about that one? I'm sure you were out there watching too.
Yeah, it was very sad and scary to watch. Like, we saw the domino effect of one athlete of team EF slipping his front wheel and then taking down the rest of them. And on that peloton, we had the likes of Primoz Roglic, Remco Evenepoel, Jonas Vingegaard, just a whole lot of Jay Vine, I believe, from the UAE. Just a whole lot of athletes, and a lot of them broke a lot of stuff. I mean, the luckiest athlete was the one that has been the most unlucky with crashes, and that is Primoz Roglic.
Right? Yeah. Maybe because he crashes more, he's more resistant to
maybe. He now knows how to fall, but no, like collarbones, broken ribs, scapulas, pierced lungs, are just a mess. And I mean, the teams are very hopeful, but I mean, it's April the 10th. I Maybe they're gonna be okay by June, July, but the question is, will they be okay to be 100% for a 21 stage tour, whether it's the Giro or the Tour de France? I don't think so. And this potentially could mean that we're going to have the strongest field on the Vuelta we've ever seen.
Yeah, that definitely makes that a lot more interesting. And he just, like, especially Jonas Vingegaard, he really got beat up in there. I think he ended up getting a collapsed lung. He had broken ribs, broken collarbone. Like, those are some serious injuries that take a fair bit of time to come back. And this is, at the Tour Basque Country. Yeah, Tour Basque Country where this happened. Just a crazy corner in there, freak accident.
WTF for sure.
Yeah. You know what? I was just saying beforehand, like, are they going to take today Pogačar and just wrap him in bubble wrap and not let him race anything? Because he's got to be a massive favorite after this. Like, just kind of gutted that team. Although it would be fun to see him and Roglic, like, really battle it out if he's on form with his new team and really firing. That would be a fun showdown. But we wish them all the best and hope that they heal up. This came right after Wout crashing and being out for a while here. It just seems like more than usual we're seeing some of those top names and big players going down in these pelotons. And at the same time, we're seeing some of the fastest ever versions of these races. And you got to wonder if that has something to do with it as well. Of course, there's always more technology, faster bikes and components, but it seems like they're really starting to push the limits on those as well. So we wish them the best. Hope that they heal up soon because we want to see them firing. Selfishly, we want to see them firing for some of the big tours. And it's unfortunate that they won't be in the rest of the spring races here to really put in some form. Well, guys, we're going to have to cut it a little bit shorter here. But as always, it's been so good to catch up. And we will all be watching the T100 in Singapore. And then we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But there will also be the Super Tri Esports Championships going on as well from the previously Super League team in there. So they'll be jumping on Zwift, hoping that they get the good treadmill and not the one that goes a lot slower. And some of the others, hopefully they've got the tech all dialed in so that there can be some quality racing over in London.
And then we have our first big Ironman
butterfly.
And then after that's Texas. So we'll have plenty to talk about after T100 and
absolutely
who's going to show up for the first full Ironman of the new Pro Series. It was really neat being around the Pro Series too. I'll say that. It was a different vibe than normal Oceanside. I think it was interesting too. The last parting shot I'll say is apparently at the Pro Series, the Pro Briefing, Sam Long got up and said something to the like, what's going on? Like, Race Ranger now, they're not here. Like, what do we need to take you guys serious or not? It was almost like a jab at Ironman versus T100. Yeah, it was like, so am I supposed to take this serious or not? But he took it serious on his own.
Yeah. Well, the one other thing, I guess this could have been the what the F too, was a bunch of athletes couldn't get into Ironman Texas because they ended up closing the registration sooner than they said they would. So Alistair was going to go race Texas and he's been shut out. They're not making any exceptions in there, which that's unfortunate, especially when they move up the timeline. It sounds like the rest of the series, everyone's kind of dialed in there, but a few big names are out of Texas, which sucks to hear, especially when there's so few races that fit within that timeline to really get 3 Ironmans in before the World Champs.
Right. And validations and things like that people need to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, we will call it a week there, guys. We will definitely be back next week to chat some more, and I'll see what's going on in the triathlon world because it is all firing off now. Have a great night, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
You too, guys.